Yashodanandana Virtuchanaranjana Yashodanandana Virtuchanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jabihari Gopi Jana Bharata Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Virtuchanaranjana Yashodanandana Virtuchanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari
So today we'll look at Srimad Bhagawatam, Canto 3, Chapter 8, the manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, text 1. Maitreya Uvacha Satsevaniyo Bata Puruvansho Satsevaniyo Bata Puruvansho Yam Lokapala Bhagavat Pradhana Yad Lokapalo Bhagavat Pradhana Babhuvita Iha. I'm sorry, I'm doing it word by word because my brain is probably not going to deal with that right now. Babhuvite Hajita Kirti Malam Babhuvite Hajita Kirti Malam Pade Nutanayasi Abhikshnam Pade Nutanayasya Abhikshnam Maitreya Uvacha Satsevaniyo Bata Puruvansho Yallokapalo Bhagavat Pradhana Babhuvite Hajita Kirti Malam Pade Nutanayasya Bhikshnam Maitreya Uvacha Satsevaniyo Bata Puruvansho Yallokapalo Bhagavat Pradhana Babhuvite Hajita Kirti Malam Pade Nutanayasya Bhikshnam Others, please. Synonyms. Maitreya Uvacha. Sri Maitreya said. Satsevaniya. Worthy to serve the pure devotees. Bhatta. Oh, certainly. Puru Vamsha. The descendants of King Puru. Yet, because Lokapala, the kings are Bhagavat Pradhana, chiefly devoted to this personality of Godhead. Babhuvita, you are also born. Eha, in this. Ajita, the Lord who is unconquerable. Kirtimalam, chain of transcendental activities. Pade pade, step by step. Nutanayasi, becoming newer and newer. Abhikshnam, always. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidura, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. Responsively, please. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidura, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family. And it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord
Transcendental pastimes of the Lord
are becoming newer and newer at every moment.
are becoming newer and newer at every moment.
Srila Prabhupada's purport. The great sage Maitreya thanked Vidura and praised him by reference to his family glories. The Puru dynasty was full of devotees of the personality of Godhead and was therefore glorious. Because they were not attached to impersonal Brahman or to the localized Paramatma, but were directly attached to Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, they were worthy to render service to the Lord and his pure devotees. Because Vidura was one of the descendants of that family, naturally he engaged in spreading wide the ever-new glories of the Lord. Maitreya felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidura. He considered the company of Vidura the most desirable because such association can accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. Om Madhyanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhaya Te Girim Jakrapatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Maitreya uvacha satsevaniyo vatapura vamsho yal lokapalo bhagavat pradhana bahu vitehajita kirtimalam pade pade nutana yasya apikshna. Always becoming newer and newer. The great sage Maitreya said to Vidura, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of the family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. So, here, as we see in another verse, we'll see this in a purport in a few minutes. Maitreya is exalting a devotee. He's praising a devotee. And why is he praising this devotee? Because he's taken birth in this noble family. Not just noble family, in this pure family. This pure family full of people whose main business, whose only business, is glorifying Krishna. Thought I'd share a little bit from Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary on this. So he makes the point that Maitreya is praising the Puru dynasty because they have neglected attention to Brahma and Paramatma. And he says, among the worshippers of Bhagavan, at every moment, in every statement, on every occasion, at every moment, abhikshna, in every statement, on every occasion, pade pade, in every sentence, in every verse, in every chapter, you make the garland of the glories of the Lord become ever fresh. You string together this garland of the Lord's glories just by the thread of your taste. Placing this garland within the casket of your ears and mind, which have condensed attraction, you make it eternally fresh. Your greatness cannot be expressed in words. Who can say enough wonderful things about you folks? It's impossible. You're outrageous. You're amazing. Why? Because everything you do is meant for glorifying Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You don't even have any interest in Brahman and Paramatma. heck with them. Phi on them, right? So this is how Maitreya opens this chapter, by glorification of the Lord, kind of metta mahatmya, I guess. And we see that everywhere in the bhakti texts. We see it in the Chatushloki Gita, in text 9. Machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Machita madgata prana. Their lives are surrendered to me. Bodhayanta parasparam. They derive great satisfaction and bliss. How? Katayantas chamam nityam. Constantly glorifying me. They don't have any other business. They don't have time for talking about other things. So what is that? Katayantas chamam nityam. Always talking about me. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Therefore, they derive great pleasure and satisfaction. If I may, I just want to share one thing about this ramanti. Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, says that this reminds him of the gopis, because they're deriving great pleasure in glorifying Krishna. Ramanti, Radha Ramana. So this is no small thing. This is no ordinary thing. This is no incidental thing. This isn't something we do when we have a chance. That's why we're here. That's why we are. Without Krishna, nothing is. We are because Krishna is, and therefore our attention, as much as possible, should go to Krishna and his devotees. It's so nice, he says, that this whole family is worthy of serving the pure devotees because they're all devoted to the personality of Godhead. And he says, Maitreya felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidura. He considered the company of Vidura the most desirable because it could accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. So sometimes we hear, it's like yesterday, Nam Kirtan was talking about how nice it is to have so many older, experienced devotees here. I think it's nice to have so many sincere, newer devotees here, because they spur the older devotees to become more Krishna conscious. They're always inspiring us. Sometimes by sharing their realizations, and they wonder, oh, is this okay? Is it okay? Holy cow, I never thought of that. Or sometimes they ask us questions which make us dig into our hearts, dig into the Bhagavatam, dig into the Bhagavad Gita. That's so fortunate. That's such fortunate company. Where do you find company like that anywhere? So this is a very special family. This is, we find this referred to elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, a few other places, but this is Narada Muni speaking to King Yudhishthira. The end of the 7th canto. Though the Pandavas, the Kurus, they're all the Moon Dynasty. They're different branches of the Moon Dynasty. So the same family generally is being glorified here. My dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are so very fortunate in this world that many, many great saints who can purify all the planets of the universe come to your house just like ordinary visitors. Furthermore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is living confidentially with you in your house, just like your brother. How wonderful it is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Param Brahman, Krishna, who is sought by great sages for the sake of liberation and transcendental bliss, is acting as your best well-wisher, your friend, your cousin, your heart and soul, your worshipable director, and your spiritual master. How do you say enough nice things about these people? It's just not possible. Narada Muni's mind is blown contemplating this. Just as we see in the 10th canto, beginning of the 12th chapter, where Shukadeva Goswami is telling King Parikshit how Krishna is playing with his friends in the forest, and they're just doing all this dumb kid stuff. And then he's just like, it's like when I read it, it sounds like a rhetorical question. What kind of pious activities could possibly account for these boys being able to play with the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman, the destiny of the yogis and the impersonalists and everybody? They're playing with him just like their buddy. How do you figure that? So this is quite an extraordinary circumstance to find ourselves in the company of such people. We saw, as Vidura saying, you're born of such a family, but guess what? We're also born of such a family. Here we are, living in this family of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And what's our main business? To give you a hint, some people may not be aware of this. After I've talked some time about this whirlwind tour Srila Prabhupada made in early 1975, late February, early March of 1975, and he ended up in Atlanta. And of course you can imagine there were devotees from probably at least all over the eastern United States there, including all the bus parties. Busloads of brahmachari and sannyasi book distributors. And one of those devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, what will please you most? Any guesses, not memories, guesses of the right answer? Guesses.
Book distribution.
Nice guess. Nice guess. Thank you for playing. You're now eliminated.
Work together, work cooperatively.
Oh, good guess. It's like, what did Lord Chaitanya say when Ramananda's answers took a turn about what's life's ultimate goal? I can't remember what he said. Lord Chaitanya said, oh, instead of Eho Bahi, he said, oh, Eho Bahi. Oh, that's nice. You have more? Okay. Oh, that wasn't a guess? What's your guess then?
It's cooperating with each
Oh, okay, good. That's a really good guess. Eho Bahi. But is there more? If you love Krishna, what will satisfy me most is if you love Krishna. That's the thing. Not double it. Not, get out there and harass people in the malls or anything. If you love Krishna. Now, sometimes your love for Krishna is going to be expressed by hopping in those buses, getting out there and harassing people in the malls. But that wasn't his answer. His answer was the essential answer. He loved Krishna. So, this is our business. And here's a little bit of insight into the mentality of those who love Krishna and their regard for Hari Katha, for Krishna Katha. Kathayantas Chamam Nitya. So this is from the Gopi Gita, the 31st chapter of the 10th canto. It's a very confidential chapter, and there are many wonders in there, especially illuminated by our Acharya, especially by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. You read Vishwanath Chakravarti, Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai. When we read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries, especially on the Bhagavatam, what we see is an overwhelming zeal for bhakti. Did I just call Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur a zealot? It's like bhakti is everything to him. He even makes an argument, of course following Jiva Goswami, that even sadhana bhakti has some power to control Krishna. This is how much Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur believes in bhakti. So in the ninth verse of the 31st chapter, this is when the gopis had been abandoned by Krishna. And so what did they do? They sat down on the river and they began to sing about Krishna. Hear it one way, it's all glorification. Hear it another way, it's bitter complaints. What do I mean by bitter complaints? Okay, let's go back to verse 2. Come on, I'm supposed to do what I say. This is quite a wonderful chapter in a number of ways. So in verse 2 they sing, Sadudashaye satajata sat sarasi jodara shri mushadasha suratanatate shukadasika varada nignato nehakim vadaha. O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the whorl of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you're killing the maidservants who've given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? Bitter complaints as they glorify him. Now, way later, and then they meet with him in Kurukshetra. They give him what for? And he can't do anything with it. So in text 9 he says, they sing, Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam kavaviriditam kalmasapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatatam bhuvi grananti jay bhuridajana. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations transmitted by learned sages eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. What did Maitreya just say to Vidura? You all are busy spreading the glories of the Lord. How wonderful are you? Okay, a little from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. On the sweet side, the nectar of your topics destroys the effects of all sin, up to prarabdha karma. The nectar of Svarga does not destroy sin, but rather it increases desire. Svarga, the heavenly planets. Rather, it increases desire, which is a cause for sin. Dukkha yonaya. The nectar of liberation does not destroy the prarabdha karma, even though it might destroy aparadha, kuta, bija, and papa. So then he continues a little bit later. He says, another meaning of the verse is as follows. If you show yourself, your words become sweet. Otherwise, Your words have no meaning. What's the context? They don't see Krishna. However, in every illustration that I've ever seen of the Gopi Gita, Krishna's there listening. He's either up in the tree or behind the tree, and he's listening. He's drinking it in. More. Why is this such a short chapter? Your words, discussion of your name, form, and pastimes become a cause of death. Ooh, a turn. A little turn in the mood here. How? By those descriptions, life becomes full of pain in separation, tata jivana. Another meaning of jivana is water. By those descriptions, we become like water sprinkled in hot oil, tapta. I just made holiday yesterday, and I stopped doing this because I think it alarms other people in the room and they don't understand what's going on. But when I pour the syrup and the fried suji together, hot oil, boiling water, big explosion. So for a long time, longer than I can remember, before I would say that, especially if it's a large pot. Yesterday was a small pot, but I'll just yell out, "Fire in the hole!" Because there's going to be an explosion and everybody needs to be a little wary. If that is so, then why are these descriptions praised in the scriptures? Poets alone praise you and no one else. Kavibiriditam. They describe you by habit and nothing else. By hearing about you, one develops pain and separation. By experiencing this pain, one burns up previous sins. Kalmasha apaham. Though by hearing about you, the Vedic rites become indestructible, when intelligent persons see that hearing about you brings suffering, they will no longer hear. Anybody who's got his wits about him knows that if Krishna Katha is going to cause this kind of suffering, they're out of there. Therefore, blind men, mad after wealth, hoping that everyone will die during hearing, through hearing, everyone else will die through hearing, spend money and establish speakers of the Puranas in various places to spread topics about you. Well, what's that about? Well, they want to kill everybody else so they can have their wealth, right? Therefore, that person on earth who sings your glories destroys many people. Thus, by spreading the poison of these topics through recitation while sitting peacefully, they are actually greater killers than murderers, and intelligent persons avoid these reciters. This is powerful stuff. A little Hari Katha, such a powerful thing, and it's for that and no other reason that Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada established his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. There are 7 purposes for Iskcon. To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large, and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna as he is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. To bring the members of the society close together with each other and nearer to Krishna, and thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God, and to reveal the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To erect for the members and the society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Godhead. To bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simple and more natural way of life, and with a view toward achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. Any questions or comments? Maharaj, Srimad Bhagawatam ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta